Hello Chappets, welcome to another Speak and Spiel with me. Yes, I came back from Essen and I'd recorded some interviews with people around there. And I'm not just talking any people, I'm talking about people in the industry and who had a stand. So if you had a stand, I might have talked to you. Let's turn that down a tad. This is Syrinscape, which is a product that I've reviewed many times. It's an app which you can download for your PC or a tablet or a phone, and it creates ambience and music and an empty warehouse. Let's create an empty warehouse. Yeah, and it comes in 3 flavors. Yeah, so you got this fantasy one, you've got this science fiction one, where it's like that. But what's that got to do with board games? Well, there's a board game one as well. So you can play chess, or you can play... Oh, it's not loaded. Catan is... Wow. Wait, sorry, I haven't got it loaded. Yeah, there it is. So you can play You can play Catan and...
8.
Roll the dice for you.
Uh-oh, 7.
Yeah, which means the robber comes.
You know what's great about this area? From now on, no one gets anything from it. Except me.
Okay, there you go. That's what Syrinscape is. But who did I interview? Well, I interviewed the big brains, the crazy mad inventor Benjamin Loomes, whose project was this and created all these wonderful sounds. Well, most of them. He kind of takes a back seat now. He's got lots of little goblins working for him. But in this interview, I talked to him about Syrinscape, how he got it started, why he got it started, and what the future is for Syrinscape as well. And what future there is for board games in Syrinscape. Because we got like Boss Monster here, and we've got Orphans and Ashes, and I don't know, what else? What other sound sets would they create? Will they create one for viticulture? Ooh, yeah, I think they will. So I'm going to stop babbling, and I'm going to go and show you, well, I'm going to put on now this unedited, simply magnificent audio plethora of words. Wow, that was a big word for me, plethora. Anywho, here's the interview. QVT. Let's see if we can do this with this. Okay, so we got... Yeah, that was good, wasn't it? Take 2. Yeah, we got that. So, no. Ooh, yeah, that was nasty. I'll never get it, will I? Maybe this button. Hello Chappets, and with me today is a guy that I have very much respect for, and this is Benjamin Loomes, the mad Australian who created Syrinscape, mate. It's super. And I'm here with him because I just wanted to shake his hand.
Excellent. Hello.
Thank you for creating Syrinscape, which came along at the time that I started composing my CD soundtrack for zombie games. And then I kind of like was put off by this amazing product that you produced. Can you tell me how you came around with the idea of Syrinscape?
I wanted sound and music at my table. I attend movies and they often have sound.
Yeah.
There were silent movies, and when people tried to put sound in them, people were like, "Oh, that'll be a terrible idea."
Yeah, he's got a terrible accent.
It did catch on.
Yeah.
And I was playing role-playing games. I'm a tragic Pathfinder and Dungeons & Dragons player.
Yeah.
And I just expected sound, so I started cobbling together playlists and CDs of soundtracks. It was never quite right, and then I started making recordings, like 15-minute recordings of different environments. But then when you've been sitting at the table playing for a while and the 15-minute recording goes around for the 7th time, and Syrinscape all goes back to this one moment at the table where that was happening. They were in a medieval town, and I mixed this lovely sound, and the players actually stopped the game and all went together. It's like
with the backing track.
With the backing track, which they'd heard and was beginning to be really annoying. So yeah, it's kind of that the sound was actually breaking the immersion rather than increasing the immersion in that situation. So I started to try and make my soundtracks longer and longer and longer and longer, and I eventually got to the point where surely a computer is the kind of thing that can pick up a suite of samples, randomize the timings of them and the ordering of them, randomize the direction they're put in the surround spectrum, randomize the distance away, apply reverb, all that sort of stuff. And I just built it literally for my own table because I wanted it, and I wanted to not have to play with playlists and playing the wrong tune and getting the thing and the sound stopping suddenly. So yeah, and people kind of liked it quite a lot, which is really cool.
Yeah, I remember playing board games. I always have musical ambience going on, and like I'll play Dungeons and Dragons, not Dungeons and Dragons, but the Dungeons and Dragons board game, the old Parker game, something like that.
Yeah.
Hasbro, I had to think there. And I'd put on a soundtrack of Babylon 5 in the background, which was totally jarring, but it helped. Right. It was atmospheric. It was
and when you had the Lord of the Rings, you get the kind of you get the dun da da dun da da.
Yeah, but it was coming at the wrong time.
Exactly, yeah, and
you're having a picnic.
Yeah, that's right. And then you're all imagining the scene where they go up over the top of the mountain, and
then you're quoting something else.
Exactly, which kind of spoils it. So yeah, the music in Syrinscape has to be. It has to not have a strong foreground element. For instance, you can't have any lyrics of any kind because then you're just listening to the words the whole time. It needs to not have kind of those special musical stings. So when James Bond does something really, really cool, it goes down, as you said, if it does that just randomly, not related to the game, then it actually breaks immersion. So the Syrinscape music is like a movie soundtrack, sort of unremarkable in many ways. High energy, inspiring, all that sort of thing. And if you want one of those stings, then you set it off separately in the little soundboard. Plus Syrinscape, obviously, as you know, does all the background noise as well. It does the sounds of the insects and the rushing stream and the kids calling out, selling things, kidneys.
And you can set all these parameters differently for each different track of sound, and then set them, and then just click through them like scenes.
That's right. Yeah. Absolutely. So you could set up. If we've got a dragon battle. We also have a storm sunset. So you could actually start the dragon battle, turn off the music, and turn on rain and thunder instead, and then save that as a preset ready in a sort of a list of presets ready to play with on the day.
It's great stuff. Again, going back to what I used to do, I used to create music, and then I thought, well, why wouldn't I just take sound effects and then make them different lengths, and then just put them on a long track so they loop and loop. And then I thought, I could do a CD like that.
That's right, yeah, exactly.
And I tried it, and I got to a point where I thought, no, Syrinscape's so much easier to listen to.
Well, that's right, and that was just exactly the same case for me. And I just happened to have this weird kind of. I had some time. I'll tell you, if you want an interesting story, it's quite funny actually. I took on a studio of 12 piano students at a small private school. And I was taking over from a piano teacher who'd basically let them go to pot. That's an English expression. I can't say that to Americans. What is this pot thing? That's right, And so, at the best of times, they weren't even showing up for the lessons. So I was teaching, trying to re-inspire. I remember this one girl who kind of sat like this and went, I hate piano. She was like, it was really hard work, and so she'd only come half the time. So I had literally 3 or 4 hours a day, once a week, of this block, and I just basically ended up writing Syrinscape in that time.
Oh, right.
So these girls and boys' parents paid for the creation of the original version.
That's good.
And I never did manage to. There was like one student who got really inspired. When you're teaching piano, it's about finding like kind of a route into excitement and inspiration for the students. So some students it's playing television themes. Other students it's jazz improvisation. Other students it's actually Bach or something random like that, and they like just totally love it and eat it up. And so as a teacher, you kind of work on that. But this studio of students was so degraded and uninspired, and that I ended up leaving. But not before I'd written Syrinscape.
Yeah, thank God. Thank God. Because it just... how do you come up with the ideas? How do you come up with a new theme, a new sound set?
Okay, well, I mean, that's really made easy for us because we have the license with Pathfinder, with Paizo. So I have to literally, every 2 months, release a big sound pack supporting one of the chapters of the adventure parts. Right. So we're just up to building the last chapter of Hell's Rebels. And so through that process, we're hitting all these really quintessential fantasy locations. So I had to do an office block in hell the other day with a contract devil. So it's kind of the sound of hell in the distance. But I put the sound of like someone playing the harpsichord in the corner, sort of relatively badly. And then, the sound of screaming, far in the distance, but they're kind of office sounds. And plus, in the last chapter of Hell's Rebels, we had barbed devils. I can't even remember. I'm so tired from Essen already. But all these different monsters. So then that forces me to cover this random selection of monsters. And then in the intervening months, we pull various monsters out from the adventure sound packs, and they become standalone sound sets. So, for instance, we made a seedy tavern. the other day.
Yeah.
There's a friendly tavern, which is kind of
I
nice.
like the friendly tavern.
Yeah. And the seedy tavern is awful and has these guys like in the corner sort of rambling on drunkenly to each other and burping at things.
Yeah.
And so we needed a seedy tavern for the Adventure Part chapter, and so now that's a standalone sound set.
Oh.
So I have all my work cut out for me just keeping up with what needs to be done. And there's so many places yet to do.
Yeah.
So people whinged for a swamp. Please make a swamp. I'm like, yes, okay, I'll do a swamp. So in that case, we just built a swamp because it was, well deserved.
Yeah.
Basically, if you want stuff in Syrinscape, just complain for it. I think is generally the
That's a good grip.
That's right.
Complain.
Yeah.
If you want something, complain.
That's right.
Complain.
The English will understand that.
Yeah.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna think my next question now.
You got to do a silly question. You're good at that.
I've got to do the silly question. Yeah. Okay.
Unexpected.
The silly question is, if you were an RPG mini, which mini would you be from which game, and what colour would you like to be painted?
Whoa. Am I getting painted really well or really badly? Are you saying uniform painted, as in dip painting?
I've got a clue. I haven't painted in so long.
I have lots of minis at home where I've based them and I've painted the legs, and that's it. And now they're not usable because they're not just a generic white mini or silver mini or whatever. And so they're not kind of like you use your imagination to fill in the gaps. They just look really, really badly painted. It's so sad.
So you're not a painter?
I am a painter, but I just don't have enough time. And then I tend to get obsessed with doing a really good job.
Yeah.
But there's 20 of them, and so.
Yeah. And every year at Essen, there's like 15 games with 20 odd minis.
That's right. So, but which mini would I like to be? I had this spectacular Pirate Queen mini at home, and she's got like sort of knee-high stockings, and she's standing on the prow of this ship, and she looks unbelievably awesome. And has this long sort of rapier. It's really cool. I think I'd like to be her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'd have to paint her better first.
What colour?
Well, I think the stockings have to be bright yellow, with spatters of blood.
Yeah.
I don't know how small they'd be on my mini, but and then like a blue hat with a kind of sort of like a bird of paradise feather kind of thing. Not a bird of paradise. What's the thing that goes around in parks? Peacock. That's right, peacock feather.
Yeah.
All that detail beautifully painted by a master painter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And what are you doing at Essen?
What are we doing at Essen? We are really outreach actually in Germany. So there's a high level of penetration for Syrinscape in the American market. It's been great. Matt Mercer using Syrinscape on Critical Role has just been absolutely awesome. Yeah. Why wouldn't you? It's the best, most easy product to use.
Yeah.
So he's been using that on Critical Role, and people are frequently saying, hey, what's that sound up you're using? He tweets it out, which is fantastic. Matt recorded 3 of his NPCs from his Critical Role game recently. So now you can drive them in Syrinscape, and you can actually have a conversation with Victor the Black Powder Salesman, which is hilarious and amazing. So yeah, we're getting quite well known in the US, but we haven't been at Spiel Essen for 2 years.
Yeah.
So it's really just reaching out, and people, as I'm sure you know, people basically come along and they, boss, is this, and you show them, and it's like, oh my god, it's incredible! I didn't know about this last week.
Yeah.
So
it's like the Willem scream kicks in, and
that's right. They're like,
I must have.
Yeah. So that's cool. And actually, there's heaps. We came to Spiel Essen 2 years ago, and a lot of the conversation was kind of like, oh, hello, Spitzel Rollenspiele, and they'd say, oh, no. Okay.
Yeah.
So we brought the Catan sound set to Spiel Essen. So now you can actually have the sounds of the happy sheep and tweeting birds of Catan, and then 60 fantastic robber sounds. So now, so now when you roll a 7 in Catan, you don't go, oh, it's a 7, oh, okay, I'll take your stuff.
Yeah.
You actually hit the robber thing, and there's 60 smart-ass comments from the robber who then, either teases the player.
There's 60 of them.
60 of them.
I've heard about 8.
Yeah.
And I laughed at each of them.
So to come here, we localized the thing. There's a German version as well.
Yeah.
So we had to search for the German sense of humor.
Yeah.
Which we found, apparently, because they're really, really funny.
Okay.
And I got a bunch of German fans who then took the time and effort to re-record all the vocals in the app. So we've turned up ready to be board game. But I think role-playing games are growing a bit because heaps and heaps of tabletop role players are coming past.
Yeah.
And just really, really being interested in the role-playing app and the fantasy.
Yeah, I think the thing different about this event in Germany to like maybe the UK Expo or other events, it is primarily, there's a big grouping of role-playing.
Yeah.
There's war game section.
Yeah.
In France, it's not so much. You'll get a little table full of role players or
is that
models,
right? Yeah.
but it's mainly board games, which is the passion. And you're branching out now into board games as well as role playing. You've got 3 different apps that you can download.
That's right. Yep.
Which I found out. I thought it was just 2,
Uh-huh.
and I was trying to look for Catan, and I couldn't find Catan because it was on a 3rd one. So there's the Syrinscape fantasy one.
Yep.
There's the Syrinscape sci-fi one.
Which is spaceships and modern sounds as well in there, like offices and car parks.
And you'll know this because you watch my videos, right? And you watch the Galaxy Truckers video, and the sound effect of the space stock is amazing. And then there's this board game playing one where you can get Catan, Casino.
Boss Monsters, fantastic, like 8-bit computer game emulating card game, which is fantastically fun. So there's all the sound effects you'd expect from kind of, what's the game where you walk a fighter needs food?
I don't know. I looked through them and I thought, I haven't got that game, I haven't got that game, I haven't got that game.
You should
I've
get
got
Boss
Catan.
Monster. Boss Monster's fantastic.
Yeah?
It's a really great game.
Yeah, it put me off because it come out when there was like about 6 or 7 games which are 8-bit graphic games, and I was like, that's a fad.
Yeah.
Probably not a good game, it's just a fad. Someone's done it and it's going to sell lots.
It's quite a good game, but with Syrinscape, of course, it's even better.
Okay. And what else are you going to be working on in the future with board games wise? Have you got any?
There are some things in the works. There's a massive fantasy board game which is just about to launch on Kickstarter, which I can't mention who they are because we haven't announced it yet.
I think I know who it is.
Okay, good.
I'll talk to you afterwards.
It's going to be a huge Kickstarter. Their last round on Kickstarter was epically massive, so that's really, really exciting. They're super, super excited. They've got this beautiful game with amazing art, incredible minis, and a really great, simple to play mechanism.
Yeah.
And it's going to be just epic with incredible, awesome, high energy music and sounds, and being able to voice the major characters in it. Oh, good.
Yeah.
I think I've given enough information that if you know any of the Kickstarters that are coming, you know precisely which game I'm talking about. But anyway.
I know which one.
Yeah, that's right. And and there's a couple of other things like that which are coming. So yeah.
Oh, great.
Orphans and Ashes is a good game as well. Orphans and Ashes. Do you know Ryan Costello Jr., the No Direction podcast, which is like kind of a Pathfinder podcast in the US? He has a game called Orphans and Ashes, which is really great. It's cool. There are other podcasters in the world. None of them are as good as Barry, though.
Yeah, there's a lot more competent speaking ones than mine. That's for sure.
Cool.
So, I think that sums up everything.
Sunset Creator, we didn't mention that. There is so much stuff going on. Sunset Creator, so people can now actually customize Syrinscape content and bring in their own content, which is really, really cool. So, for instance, some German players the other day brought up the Burnt Offerings, the opening chapter of the Rise of the Runelords Adventures, which has the fantastic Goblin Attack on Sandpoint, during which they sing the Pathfinder Goblin song, which is hilarious. And,
my daughter loves that.
Exactly. So these German guys set it off. They're like, it's in English. Like, we want it in German. So they emailed me and said, do you have a German version? I'm like, would you like to sing it? So I stripped off the English lyrics. Yeah. And hilariously, there were only 3 goblins singing on the soundtrack, which had recognizably English lyrics. When I first recorded the Goblin song, I sang it. And, I got my other singers all sang it, and we all got together. And it was way too nice, like way too nice. Clean. So I had to remove several of them. And one of the goblins is literally going, and it's so hilarious. Sometimes I just put that one track on. Yeah. Anyway, so I didn't strip him off. And then these guys translated the Goblin song, and then I re-recorded it and then uploaded that as what we call community content, which is available to all our top-level subscribers. Top level.
I'm not top level.
Our glowing golden subscribers. And there's other stuff that people have made, like Crystal Fraser from Paizo made a creepy shopkeeper. Yes. Which is really, really fun.
That's funny.
So you can actually have an encounter with the shopkeeper, and there's enough buttons there so she can say no and yes, and I can't do that, and it's too expensive for you, and welcome and goodbye and everything. And you can pretty much, I've done it with my gaming group, and it actually works really, really well. It's fun. It's old computer games where they have to be able to respond to everything, including I don't understand what you're saying. Yeah. Because you've like been a smart ass and typed in something, really, really confusing. So yeah.
Okay. So where can people find you?
Yes.
Where can people?
Syrinscape.com. Syrinscape.com. You can even misspell it in Google and you'll still find us. You can download it for free to give it a try. You get 2 free sound sets, which will always be yours to play with, and then you can download individual stuff or subscribe to unlock everything.
Yeah, so check it out. Syrinscape. Thank you very much,
Yeah,
Ben.
it's lovely to talk to you always.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And bye. Than anyone. Ooh, yeah, he's buff.
Big shout out to Ship Naked as well, our shippers for America, Philly Bear, who have been once again all the guys working with us.
You said ship naked.
Ship Naked, not what you think. I said.
Ship naked.
Yeah. It's a weird name, and I've never asked them why, but I'm sure there's.
I just got a package from Ship Naked, and my wife looked at it and she says, "What's this?" And I winked at her and said, "You'll find out."
Well, there's a fig leaf in there somewhere.
It was my tiny epic western, but okay.
Is that what she calls it?
Yeah.